to the Tea and Yarn Cakes podcast. I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're coming to you from in and around beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, which is anything but beautiful today, but here we are.
It is a gloomy day. You can find us online on Instagram mostly. I am at Shireside Fibers.
And I am the dyer and bag maker behind Republica Unicornia Yarns. I'm on Instagram as Republica_Unicornia_yarns. And we will put all of this information in the down bar so you don't really have to listen to what we're saying right now.
And this is episode 2, if we didn't say that. And we forgot to make a disclaimer last episode that we are
going to try to keep this PG-13.
Yes, we're rather foul-mouthed individuals.
We like the full range of the English language at our fingertips.
And we're not going to censor ourselves too much, but we'll do our best. So, today we are eating homemade crumpets, which only turned out so-so. Not the same recipe I've used in the past, and I did not really like the way they turned out. And we are drinking English breakfast, some loose leaf tea, mystery tea that I don't know what it is. And we have Christmas goodies, semi-homemade Christmas goodies. We have porcupines, dirty snowballs, and white chocolate covered mint Oreos. So that's what's going on here. And we will jump into knitting content. Do you want to?
Yeah, we're going to talk about what we're wearing first. And I realized I am terrible at finished object photos. Like, I'll put up a picture on Instagram of like a half-done sweater and then you'll never see it again. But it's just because I forget to take photos. So I guess this counts. I am going to awkwardly stand up, and I am wearing the, ooh, that lighting is weird. I am wearing the Hiro pullover by Farwell-Clay. It's knit out of Cascade 220, which, just a note about that, I am not a yarn snob. I'm a hand dyer, but I like all kinds of yarn. And Cascade, I think, was my first, like, not Michael's yarn. And I really like it. And it's really affordable, and it's wearing really well. I'm really enjoying it. So I think it's the Lake Chelan colorway. It's like a really pretty heathered blue-green. And then there's some Malabrigo in here. I think it's actually, the rest of it is Malabrigo. Oh no, that's more Cascade. The orange is more Cascade. It's a colorwork pullover. It was my first real colorwork pattern, and it was really great to do it in worsted. I enjoyed it. It is worsted weight, so it is definitely a little warm for the deep south, but it is cold and disgusting today, so I got to wear the snuggly sweater.
I like the purple. That's Malabrigo.
Thanks. It is. It's Malabrigo Sabiduria, I think. It's one of my favorites of theirs. I love Malabrigo. I love their tonals so much. So.
Well, the whole sweater turned out really great. And I am wearing the Blye Bandana cowl, which is by Katy, Carroll, and I believe that her knitwear design company is Katinka Designs, and it is made out of the bulky, lopey, I don't remember what they call the yarn or any of the colors, but one of my best friends brought it back from Iceland for me, and it was the perfect thing for it. So it's just a super bulky, lace weight, little triangular cowl. And
is it like really infinity, or you just have a tie?
Nope, it is infinity.
That's so cool.
It was really fun to knit, and it was really fast. So
I'm just gonna touch it because I do that.
Go for it. It's I mean, obviously it's lopey, so it's super rustic, but I really love it. And she brought me back these 3 colors, and then also a kind of purpley heathered burgundy color. I really love. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to make with that one yet, but it is anxiously awaiting the perfect project. And we've got Lemon here with us today. Susie is with our husbands, so
who are playing video games in the back because they're having a play date while we're recording a podcast.
So hopefully she won't be in here bumping into stuff, but we'll probably see the cats. So,
shall we talk whips?
Yes, I have a half object, sort of.
Oh, we should finish objects first, right before whips.
So,
really professional.
Well, I should say, Kathleen and I have been watching the Knitting Vicariously podcast because it's amazing.
It's amazing. Y'all should be watching it.
And she's been doing the Blame
Dunder
Knits knit along, and I have yarn that I totally want to cast on for that, but before I can do that, I have to finish all of the socks I cast on, which I think should be Blame Republica Unicornia, because I cast on 3 sets of Rye Socks after I saw hers. So this one's my mother's. I'm calling it a half object, but I haven't Kitchenered the toe, so, you know, it is what it is. But I made her a little Christmas sock, and it went really fast. I did my first Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I like it. I think it'll be nice. And I was super secretive and sneaky. I'm very proud of myself.
I'm grooming it. Hold on, you have a doctor on it. Okay,
my mother and son have almost the exact same foot size, and so I told my mom that I was knitting Wally socks and that I needed to measure her foot so that the socks would fit. And then I cast on her sock, and when I got done with her sock, I told Wally I needed him to try it on to make sure that it would fit my mother.
It's like knitting double agent.
So it fits him perfectly. I'm very excited. So that's my half object.
That's a pattern. If you don't know, Rye is a pattern by Tin Can Knits.
Yes, Tin Can Knits
are probably my favorite pattern designers. Their stuff is really beautiful. It's when you buy a pattern, you get every size from like infant to like 4X. I mean, it's like everything.
Well, the patterns are really straightforward, and this particular pattern is also a tutorial on learning how to make socks, which is pretty cool.
And it's free.
It's free. It's worsted weight yarn, so it goes really fast. And this yarn is actually like big box store merino. I bought it at Joann's. I didn't know they sold merino, and it's by Red Heart, which was mind-blowing.
I didn't know they made real fibers.
Me either. But I actually really like it. It's not like the softest merino ever, but it's super duper bouncy, and I think it'll make really good socks. So I really like that. And then what do you have going?
So I also made a pair of Rye socks, but they were a gift, and they are on the recipient's feet.
They're gone, yeah.
It was great. I gave them to her, and it was like immediately they were on. But I do have the yarn. I have one more skein of the yarn in the shop. So I knit them in 30A, which is my colorway inspired by the Gulf of Mexico. My parents live along the Gulf Coast, and we have been going there for my entire life, and it's my favorite place in the world, so I dyed yarn to look like the Gulf. And she also loves it there, so she loved them. But guys, these are such fast socks. I knit my pair in like 3 days, and I worked full days not at home for 2 of those 3 days. And so they're really fun, they're really easy, and they're like slipper socks.
Yeah.
Well, have we talked about my slipper problem? Digression.
You don't like... Oh, yeah.
I have tried to knit, like, I think at least 5 different slipper patterns.
I don't think there's any good slipper
never
patterns.
had good luck.
I mean, if somebody knows good slipper patterns,
please send them our way, because I'm not opposed to knitting slippers.
Well, I actually wanted to knit Wally slippers for Christmas. That was my original plan, and I was going to use a super bulky weight because he loves being cozy. And I went on Ravelry and really couldn't find any good patterns for them, and so I just decided to do socks instead, which I think, I mean, I'll show you the yarn that I got for him in a minute, and it's perfect for him, so it's fine. But they do go really, really, really fast. I knit that sock in like 2 evenings, I think, and that's not sitting down and knitting for an evening. That was like going to my bedroom and secretly knitting because my mother's here staying with us, and like building a pillow fort so that if she knocked on the door I could shove it under the pillows. So I really didn't do much work on them, and I got from the cuff down to the heel done in 1 evening, and then I did the heel in 1 evening, which I didn't spend any time on the heel at all. And the only reason it took me longer was because it was just late that night, and then I finished the rest of it the next night. So technically 3, I guess, but 3 really interrupted evenings. So
if you need gift knitting, you know, it's getting late. I always think, I've learned this about myself, I always think things are going to take about 1/9 of the time they actually take. I'm like, you will hear more about that later, but I'm like, I have plenty of time. Incorrect. TikTok, baby Jesus is coming. So if you need a last minute knit, these are a good one.
They are really good. And when I decided to cast on 3 pairs of them, I was like, oh, I have plenty of time, which I do. I definitely do, as long as I don't have a baby. So, so I got, this one done and part of the other 2 done and realized, oh my goodness, I could have a baby at any moment and then still end up giving them, half of a sock.
Which is some amazing multitasking.
So we'll see how that goes. But
do you have more? I have a big one.
I have the other socks that I'm working on.
Do you want me to show my finished object before we do whips?
Yes.
Okay, so last time on the podcast, I showed y'all my Marled magic shawl by the incomparable and fabulous Stephen West.
It's beautiful.
And this, I'll talk about it in a second. So here, it's just, you know what, it's so freaking huge that there's going to be no showing it all on camera. So we're just going to do a little shawl parade here.
You've got
shawl
it backwards,
parade.
though.
Oh, man.
Turn it around.
Sorry, that was the back side. I totally meant to do that. Okay.
Which the back side looks almost the exact same except for the
where you pick up
mesh.
stitches. So, and where you pick up stitches too. It's kind of funky. So anyway, it is a ridiculous giant schlanket of joy.
Sparkles.
I love it. It's got sparkles and it's got mohair in it. It has tassels. I did I'm not going to talk about all the yarns because it's like 9,000 different ones, but I did do the border in this subtle, it's held together, it's like a light gray and a darker charcoal with stellina in it, so it's gray and sparkly. I actually got through maybe like a third of the border with a different color and decided I didn't like it and ripped it out and started over, which was kind of the story of this shawl because I really wanted it to be what I wanted it to be, and you can't, with marling it's hard to tell, even if you swatch it's a little hard to tell what it's going to look like in the end. So there were definitely some sections where I was like, I got a little bit in, I was like, no, that's not going to work. I kept trying to put a really bright gold in it and it just didn't work.
It looks so good.
So I went with the more muted jewel tones, which is 100% my jam. I love this. It was so much fun to knit. It is so snugly warm. I keep wearing it. It's a blanket. It's squishy and puffy, and I no longer have to try to steal Kristen's every time I see her. So I
wore mine yesterday.
It's great. I can't recommend this pattern enough. It was just what I wanted to do before I started all of my obligation knitting.
Yeah. Well, and it's a fun little palette cleanser. And I know people really don't like I-cord, but I didn't feel like the I-cord took that long.
It took a while, but it's really it's easy. You don't have to think about it. You know what changed I-cord for me when I realized you could slip, you know how you slip the stitches? When you didn't have to slip them one at a time. When I realized I could just slip all 3, I'd been knitting for longer than I'd like to admit before. I was like, wait a second, this goes a lot faster. So
well, I did my I-cord in like a day and a half. And I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't that bad.
It's not. It's fine. But I'm enjoying it. I was ready to be done because it's a big project, but it wasn't like I was sticking with it just so it would be finished. I really did enjoy this. So it was great fun. Because I'm a sock knitter and I often use partial skeins for garments even, I have so many leftovers, and so it was really, and granted I did skein up some full skeins because I needed the colors, but it was nice to be able to stash bust a little bit. I feel like whenever people show their stashes on the internet, it's always like the perfect skeins that are still wrapped. They don't show you the 7-gallon size Ziploc bags you have shoved full of little random bits.
Well,
so anyway, I'm enjoying it.
It's gorgeous.
That's Marled Magic by Stephen West. Highly recommend.
Okay, so second sock, not of the same set. This one is for my husband who's in the back, and he doesn't know. I was actually in the room with him and I had to sneak it out. So
if they come out, we can just shove it in the bag.
So this is his, it's Patton's worsted, and I don't know the color. I have no idea what they are. They were in my stash. But I know that you can buy them right now because I saw them when I was picking out the other yarn. So it's a purple and then this variegated, and it's really fun. It's got green and I don't even know what you would call that, like a burnt peach, and like a burgundy, and he's gonna love these. So
they're so great.
Yeah. So the only problem is I realized that I dropped a stitch when I was trying to magic loop these, and my needles just were not gonna work for magic loop. So I actually I've stopped. I have to drop down and pick my stitch back up because I'm not willing to unravel the whole thing. So that's that. How many whips do you have? I
don't even know. I didn't even bring them all.
Okay, well, I'll just show since they're all socks.
Yes.
And then this is Wally's. I started this last night.
I love that. Is that the Patton's tweed?
It's also Patton's, the classic worsted tweed. And he is all about black. He wants to wear black pants and a black shirt and a black jacket and black shoes and a black hat. And
but he's like not gothy kid at all.
He's not.
He's the sweetest.
He's not gothy at all, but it's really cute. And so I like this because it was, you know, with the multicolor tweed or the little, I don't know, it's so cute. So here. It's really, really pretty with all the little colors in it. It's totally his jam. And I decided, since it was the tweed, that instead of doing the garter section, that I would do seat stitch. So I don't know if you can tell because it's black, so it is what it is there. I think you can see it. But so I'm doing seat stitch and it looks really cute. And I started this last night while we watched Love Actually. So this was like me knitting in the dark while watching a movie with black, and I still made this much progress, so.
Oh my goodness, I cannot with you.
Lemon is very snuggly. She likes her belly to be rubbed.
Well, I'm pro belly rubs.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about knitting while rubbing a puppy belly. Pretty good life. So I have, here, Lemon, I'm going to have to, this is like the sock, it's like Socks Fest. No, not the same.
They're weird.
It's like Sockathon over here, and this is not. My Christmas socks are not going to be done for reasons that I will get to in a moment. But I went to Knit-Togethers for the first time in a million years at the Craftivist, which is my local yarn store, which I love dearly, and it was so good to see everybody because I have not been in like months. So
I went to my
Yay.
not at the Craftivist, which actually is probably closer. I went to Athens to Revival for their knit night. I was like, it was on Friday. I was like, I'm getting in one last knit night before I have this baby.
Yes. So we had, the Craftivist does like a ton of them. They do one.
Don't they do two?
A Tuesday during the day, a Thursday evening, and Saturday during the day. So
that's awesome.
It's great because I'm not a night person because I'm 100 years old and I don't like driving after dark because I'm 100 years old. And so I love going in the afternoons, and it was really rainy yesterday and everyone there was really fun and wonderful, and it was just delightful. It was good.
I need to get in there.
Yeah, you do. We'll take a field trip.
Yeah.
So anyway, yesterday I got the heel knitted. I haven't got it turned yet because I am a hardcore heel flap and gusset sock knitter.
I am too.
I love it.
Kiss heel was pretty fun though.
I've heard that. I've heard that they're not as comfortable to wear.
I would imagine that they're not because it bunches the stitches and the sides.
Yeah. But like also I learned. I mean, I've been knitting for 3 months before I knit my first sock. It's muscle memory at this point. I mean, I have to check for stitch count when I turn a heel, but otherwise it's like I can do it in my sleep. I actually have nodded off while knitting a sock before on more than one occasion. So anyway, Lemon, I'm gonna have to. I feel like such a jerk.
Come here.
To move the puppy. So this is my sock. It's knit in Republic Unicornia's Baubles colorway, which is my holiday colorway. It is super festive and fun, but not exclusively so. I mean, I wear Christmas socks all year round. I think we've talked about that. But anyway, no way in hell are these going to be done for Christmas, but I'm going to try. So that's going on.
You just knit such long legs.
I do. I feel like as a child I had a pair of shoes that chafed at the top. Like, you know when you have boots and they like chafe at obviously I was traumatized, and so I want all of my I would prefer knee socks actually.
I actually don't.
Love knee socks.
The socks I have on right now, which are not hand knit, come up, whatever this is, like 5 inches.
Is it too much for you?
This is like the most I want. It sticks out over my boots when I wear them, and they're sparkly, and I like that. but any longer, and I would be like,
I'm wearing really tall boots right now, and my socks don't go all the way up, and I'm like having a moment about it.
Well, that's fair. That's different. I don't have really tall boots.
So, the reason I am not going to finish anything before Christmas is because in my infinite wisdom and in my, this won't take any time at all kind of way, I decided that I was going to be able to knit my mother a full sweater. It is December the 9th. I cast it on yesterday. Christmas is coming. And soon, and I don't know if y'all are like this, but I have issues with obligation knitting. I will procrastinate on it because it's like I have to do it. So I could knit myself a sweater in a few weeks, but now that I have to, I'm just not sure what's gonna happen, but it's for my mama. So anyway, I swatched yesterday like a good girl. I got gauge on the first try. So I'll talk about pattern and all that in a second, but first I have to show, because shameless self-promotion, I made myself a project bag.
And it's so beautiful.
Which I am obsessed with. And it's not going to show up on camera, but the inside it's Robert Kaufman's Essex. It's a sparkly linen cotton blend, and it's like this blue-gray color, and it makes me so happy. And this is bigger than the project bags that I've been making because I needed a true sweater size bag. I think I'm going to start offering them in the shop at some point, but not before Christmas. Love y'all, but nope. So anyway, that's my bag. And it has like knitting on it and sewing on it and all kinds of things. And it's the Gasly's fabric, but it's not overly Edward Gorey-ish. So anyway, that's going on there. So this is going to be, let me reiterate that, going to be the Breathing Space sweater by Vera Valimaki. And it's beautiful. It's an asymmetrical hemline. It's striped. It's beautiful. When I swatched, I did the striping, a little bit of the striping, so I could get a sense of what the yarns were going to look like. And it's really nice. I think that will help me from getting bored.
It looked really good. She sent me a picture of it. I liked it a lot.
It was not what I would have picked for myself, but it's what my mom wanted. I gave her a bunch of options, and she picked it out, and it's her sweater. So I am doing it. So this is what I have so far. Yeah, Christmas sweater. Also, my mother is the size of a regular human being and not a 12-year-old, so it's gonna be a lot of sweater. Not that she's a lot of person, it's just I'm like a kid's size. I'm miniature. Anyway, so
it's different.
It's totally different. And so what happened yesterday, tale of woe. So many tales of woe. Tale of woe was I cast on 132 stitches, and somehow whenever I cast on a top-down sweater, I always forget that you really do need to start off on a 16-inch needle. And I always start off on the 32-inch cable that the pattern calls for, which is too big, it's too much needle for that number of stitches. So every time, literally every sweater, we go through this. Okay, so that happened. And then, so I got that figured out, and then what had I done? Had I twisted the stitches? There was something I did where I knit the first round of ribbing and realized I had done something wrong. I've blocked it out of my head now. But anyway, so I did it all over again, which is why I have 6 rounds of twisted rib on a sweater for Christmas. Let's talk about the yarn. It makes me feel better. I did knit a swatch too, so I guess that's something. It was a big swatch too. So the yarn is Republic Unicornia. The main color is going to be Republic Unicornia BFL sock in the Electric Miss Peacock colorway. It's a super tealy tonal blue, green, 100% my jam. My mother loves it. Also her jam. So that's the main color, and then the contrast color is going to be Starry Night, and this is the merino cashmere nylon base. It's the Luxe Sock, my Luxe Sock base. And so Starry Night is a speckled with like teal and a blue gray and a gold, and it's very fun. My concern in the swatch was that it was going to be too high contrasty and too. I'm weird about high contrast stuff. I don't like it. But Mom really liked it, and it is her sweater, and I am glad. I have the yarn all skeined up. I am glad to do that for her. So that is what is happening. Is happening. It's what will happen, I hope. So that's my big thing. You have all of the animals.
I do, and Lemon is offended that
she's like not happy.
Has gotten into her space.
She's like,
here,
I'll take the dog. Hey, bubbers.
Yeah. So do you have other works in progress?
I actually don't. I have the pair of socks that I showed last time. I have, like, right now, all I have on the needles are 3 pairs of socks and a sweater that is going to be the bane of my existence.
Okay, well, I have one last work in progress, which I showed
yes
last time. I have not worked on my sweater once. I cast on the shawl thinking I would go back and forth between them, and then we started watching Christmas movies around the clock, and I cannot follow a super intense chart. I mean, it's not even that intense, but I can't follow a chart while watching a Christmas movie. So I've just been diligently
oh my gosh, I love it
brioching
so
my little heart out. So
that gold.
So I think it was like this big when I was
gold is amazing.
When we were doing this before. So I got all of this. Let's see. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I have maybe 80 or 90 stitches on the needles, and I need to get to like 116 or something. So I'm nearing the end of the brioche section, and it's super
I
squishy.
squish all of brioche. It's kind of an awkward thing.
It's really like, lovely. And now that it's bigger, you can get a little better sense of the colors. So this one that's showing up here is Fragile by Madeline Tosh on their singles base, and then the back is Flossy Fingering by Republica.
Not me. I can't dye that color. That's
the Republic of Wool, and it is in her Grand Budapest Redux color, which I don't think I mentioned last time. My husband and I are huge Wes Anderson fans, particularly Grand Budapest. It's his opus, in my personal opinion. There's actually a Wes Anderson book back there. I have a Wes Anderson gallery wall over there that actually has Boy with Apple in it that I got a family member to paint for my husband for Christmas a few years ago. And so when I saw this yarn, I had to have it. I think she posted it on Instagram and I was like, mine! And so it's been sitting in my stash and I'm really excited to use it. So
I love it so much.
I know, and
this
it's turning out really fun, and it's not anything like any other shawls or cowls or anything I have, so I'm really excited to see how it turns out. And I haven't really been trying to accomplish this, just when when I can't knit on socks because the people I'm knitting them for are around, then I knit on this, and mostly that's been during Christmas movies at night. So it's turning out really good, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But I think that's all I've been working on. We don't have as much content this episode, which is good. We weren't planning on having really long episodes. We just did a long one since it was our get to know you thing. So.
Going into labor.
Baby's like
just like that.